What is your place in the world? That space where we go and where we feel safe and when we need especially inspiration or to be re-energized. Those places where we go and we can connect with who we are, with ourselves. Maybe a cabin for those who have one and a place where you can go. Maybe a place where you travel to. Every time you need to travel, you always choose that destination because you feel that you regain energy in that place. Maybe a particular space at home where we can be by ourselves and we can think and we can be inspired and regather our thoughts. Jesus had his own. He had his mountains that he would go to and trees under which he prayed and he regathered and was with his Father. And these are places that usually carry memories from the past, and that's why they restore us. Places that bring back all the memories in our hearts. The readings today speak about two concrete spaces: the Promised Land for Abram and Mount Tabor for Jesus, Peter, James, and John. Two spaces that were very significant for the church of the Old Testament and early Christianity, respectively. However, there's a difference. These are places of restoration, not only because they are attached to a memory from the past, but to a hope for the future. So Tabor is a place of anticipation, a place that puts us in contact with the upcoming heaven already in this life, what we can call a sacred space. The evangelist says today that Jesus took Peter, James, and John and went up the mountain to pray. It is a sacred space, not only because Jesus was there, but even more importantly, because there he showed them his glory, driving away all fear from their hearts. This is a place where all of the sudden everything makes sense. The teachings of Christ now made sense for Peter, James, and John, because they knew where he wanted to lead them. Many of his actions started making sense, like expelling the money changers from the temple, because they understood now the temple that he wanted to found. And even his most radical words started making sense. If you love mother and father more than me, you're not worthy of me. Sell everything to buy that precious pearl. And even the teaching about the Son of Man having to suffer and to die. Everything started making sense in Tabor, in the light of Tabor. Tabor became the place of certainty. Certainty that after the fight, our hope will be fulfilled. Tabor is that place where it feels right to live according to God's plan and teachings. A place that feels safe. Master, it is good that we are here. Conversion is always that goes from the inside out, we know. Nothing that is imposed from the outside truly remains, and Jesus knows. He always appealed to our own freedom. Even about the Lenten practices, he says, in secret, in silence, many times. Prayer, fasting, almsgiving, great, but in secret, before your Father who sees in secret. Conversion is from the inside out. In fact, right before this reading that we read today at Mount Tabor, Jesus taught the apostles that he had to suffer. And then he told them, if you want to be my disciple, you must renounce self, pick up your cross daily and follow me. You must convert. So after telling them that conversion goes from the inside out, then he takes them up to Mount Tabor. At the peak of Mount Tabor, Jesus also founded a new sacred space, a place that fosters and encourages conversion from the outside in, a place where those who want to be his disciples gather. So we are committed to founding Tabors on this earth. We understand that in this world, as it has always been, that is in many ways harsh to Christian living, we need sacred spaces where conversion is fostered and encouraged. We need spaces where we enter in contact with the glory of God, as well as with others who are following him too. A place of restoration and assurance of our future hope. A promised land, we could say. We want to found Tabors here at St. Mary's and at the Newman Center. Sacred spaces where it feels right to live the way that Jesus teaches. Oases in the world, monasteries of the new evangelization. So how can we replicate this Taboric experience here in Corvallis today? I think there's 4 fundamental experiences that come from Tabor that we can replicate here at St. Mary's and at the Newman Center. And those are enlightenment, delight, confirmation, and sending. The first one, enlightenment. A light shone upon them. The apostles were enlightened at Tabor from the light that came from the face of Jesus. Psalm 36 prays, "In your light we see light itself." So the 3 were able to look straight at the sun for a moment and to see light itself. And from that light, they were able to see their lives under a new light. So we want at St. Mary's and the Newman Center to be spaces of knowledge of the mystery of God, where there's formation and spiritual insight. And also we want it to be a place where to regain vision for our own lives. Now I feel that I see clearly again, and I can go back with a new vision. In the second place, Tabor is a space of delight. The disciples were overjoyed. They didn't want to leave. "It is good that we are here. Let us make 3 tents. Let us stay here." So we want St. Mary's and Newman to be a place of spiritual joy. A place where you experience that you leave better than you came, with a greater joy in your heart. A place of good news, a place of new life, a place of new opportunities, of simple joys. In the third place, Tabor has another fundamental experience. It's a place of confirmation. Tabor is also the place of the Father's confirmation before the scandal of the cross, both for Christ and for the disciples. "This is my beloved Son," says the Father. He confirms him and the disciples that they can trust. We also want to found a place where we are confirmed in our deepest identity as daughters and sons of God. Yes, a place that challenges us, of course, to become better, to continually grow, but a place where that challenge stems out of a deeper confirmation in love that comes from God. And in the fourth place, the fourth experience of Tabor is one of sending. The disciples were invited to deepen the mystery in silence, and they would be able to share with everyone what they have seen and touched. The Gospel says, they fell silent and did not at that time tell anyone what they had seen. So they gathered that mystery in the silence of their hearts. And once they were strong, then they started sharing that with everyone, as they did many years later. And John, he explains that he communicates what he has seen with his own eyes, what he has touched with his own hands. We need no teachers, but witnesses. People who have touched the mystery with their own hands, who have seen with their own eyes, and can transmit that. Nothing against teachers, we also need teachers. But a place where we are sent back into the world, where we can authentically give reasons for our hope. I think there's two main conclusions that we can draw out of this vision that I shared with you this morning. The first one is to pose a question back to you. What is your place in this vision? Because this is something that we all make. How can you help transform St. Mary's, the Newman Center, if you're a college student, into a place that is a Tabor, a monastery of the new evangelization, a place of confirmation, of sending, of enlightenment, of delight? It is an invitation to go out of ourselves and start thinking more broadly. What can I do? But secondly, I invite you to put into practice this week founding a Tabor at home for this Lent, a physical place that anticipates that future glory of Easter, a space where we can maybe go and pray and be in silence and be with God, a place of enlightenment, delight, confirmation, and sending. I invite you to prepare a Tabor for the remaining days of Lent so that we can find Christ in that place and all these four fundamental experiences. What is your place in the world? Besides having all these places that bring back memories in our hearts, let us also continue to build the sacred space that anticipates the future glory. Christ in me, the hope of glory. Let us take our part in the construction of a Tabor here in Corvallis, a sacred space in this world, a true home away from home.